Aloha mai kako, everyone. Welcome to Halau na Puahala Kuno Ike Kai. We are coming to you live from Nu'uanu Valley on the island of Oahu. My name is Kumu Kanoi, and today is actually Saturday, March 6th, and it's 9 a.m. here in Hawaii. 12 years ago, Facebook reminded me that 12 years ago, I was at the top of my hula career. I danced for Hawaiian Airlines at NASDAQ in New York. And some of my friends back home here were saying, hey, we saw you on CNBC. It was amazing. And I thought, wow, this is really the highlight of my hula life and my life in general. It's like, wow, I'm a star. But actually, the real highlight on this particular day came 8 years ago, and one day. 8 years ago and one day, right? 8 years ago and one day, meaning yesterday, 8 years ago, this little guy was born. This is my kukua for hula class. This is our son here. Behind the camera is my husband, Luke. And this is Eames Kalania Kea Williams. And he had a birthday yesterday. He turned 8 years old. And so before we start hula, I wanted everybody out there in the world that is watching to sing happy birthday. So we're going to do it in English and Hawaiian. So we'll do English first and then we'll do Hawaiian. Okay? Makoko. Happy birthday. Pa. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday, dear Eames. Happy birthday to you. Maka'olelo Hawaii. Hau'oli laha nau ya oi hulo. Hau'oli laha nau ya oi wiha. Hau'oli laha nau ya kalania kea. Hau'oli laha nau ya oi. All right. Without too much more stalling, I do believe that it is time to hula. Aloha Homai. Thank you so much for joining me in wishing Eames a happy birthday. Hau'oli laha nau. He was actually, we were telling him that the wishes, his birthday wishes, were coming in from Mexico and Germany and France and New Zealand and California and all over the place. And he said, wait, what? All those people are watching? I don't know. Have you been listening? Right now?
I didn't know that we had people from New Zealand.
He didn't know that we had people from New Zealand. That's right, because we had new friends joining us just recently. So we do want to say aloha to all of you joining us today. We are going to start our hula class the way that we always do, and then we'll get into a little bit more of what we're covering, specific topic today. But we're going to start with Hawaii Pono'i. Now, Hawaii Pono'i is written by both Henry Berger, who was the bandmaster, the Royal Hawaiian Band, and King David Kalakaua. Henry Berger wrote the music, and originally the song was called Hymn to Kamehameha Ekahi, which is Kamehameha the what? The first, absolutely. So he wrote the music for Kamehameha Ekahi, and then King David Kalakaua came back and wrote this beautiful poetry. There are 3 verses, so for those of you that are new to our hula, we will do all 3 verses. So we'll start with verse number 1 that you see right down here below. And then we'll go to the hui, which is right here on the side. And then we'll go on to verse number 2, return to the hui, and then verse 3, which is all the way down on the other side, and then hui once more. Okay, so pali ke kua means your back is straight like a cliff. Mahina ke alo, your face shines with the countenance of the moon, and hands down by your side. Hawaiʻi pono I pa.
Hawaiʻi pono'i nanai komo'i kalani ali'i ke ali'i makualani e kamehameha e na kaua e pale me ka ihe.
Verse 2.
Hawaiʻi pono'i nanai nali'i na pua muli kou na poki'i
Makua.
makualani e kamehameha e na kaua e pale me ka ihe.
Toku e kolu.
Hawaiʻi pono'i e kalahui e o ka ʻohana nui e ui e makualani e kamehameha e na kaua e pale me ka ihe.
Mahalo for that. Thank you so much for joining with us in all 3 verses. I want to give a special shout out ho'omaika'i to Kiva, one of our keiki students, who I heard did a solo on all 3 verses of this for her class at Kamehameha, and she is in kindergarten. So, ho'omaika'i, congratulations, Kiva. Thank you for sharing all of the verses with your classmates. I'm so proud of you for learning all of them and memorizing them and singing them so that we don't forget all of those beautiful words. Yes, sir.
So, what if we sing the third, second, and first verse in the melody of the hui?
Oh, that would be interesting if we change the melody to the hui. I don't know. I'm not sure that that is what they had in mind for that song, but we could try it sometime. Maybe not on a live, but we'll give that an experiment. Okay. Right now, it is time for us to do what we call the Oli Aloha. And we're going to do the short form of the Oli Aloha. An Oli, of course, is a chant, and aloha is a word that we all know. It means love, and it is a greeting. So for the Oli Aloha, actually, before we get to this, I'm so sorry, I went ahead of myself. We want to know who we are saying aloha to. We have a brand new map that we sort of updated with all of our friends that have told us aloha from around the world. So as you can see, they may not all be watching right now on this live, but over the past year, since we started doing these lives back in March of 2020, we have had hula friends join us from all over the world. And if we didn't already shout out your country, Germany, France, New Zealand, Panama, Japan, China, Korea, all of these different places. Australia, one of our favorite places to visit. Please be sure to leave us a little comment so that we know where you are watching from. I know that lots of you are joining us brand new today since it's a new month and new hula. So, now that we sort of have an idea, actually, maybe we can greet some of these people if we haven't already. So let's see who we have that we're saying aloha to. Oh, we have someone joining us from Vienna today. Aloha no. Nice to see you. We have multiple friends joining us from Mexico. So let's see, who do we have? Maybe Nora is joining us from Mexico, and she was wishing Eames, I think, happy birthday. I have to use Google Translate a lot because everybody writes in these different languages, and I love it. I love seeing all of the different um, olelo of the whole world on our feed. So that is awesome. And of course, right here in Hawaii, we have our friends, Mallory. I think you already might have shown that, but Mallory was wishing Eames happy birthday from right here on Oahu Island in Wahiawa. So awesome. There's so many of you. I don't think I'll have time to say hello to everyone, but let us now do our Oli Aloha to greet everyone. As I was mentioning before, this chant is written by Auntie Pilahi Paki, and it is what we call an acrostic poem. If you look at the letters on the beginning of each line, it is A, L, O, H, A. So the whole chant is actually a description of what it means to show aloha. So repeat after me just the words. Repeat after me. Akahai.
Akahai.
Akahai can mean to be modest or to be gentle. Yeah, to be, sometimes it can mean meek, but gentle. Let's go with gentle. Okay. Second word, second line starts with L. It is lo kahi. E ho'opili mai, lo kahi.
Lokahi.
You hear that kahi. Kahi means one, like e kahi. Lo kahi means to join together in unity. So unity is lo kahi. Next letter is olu olu. E ho'opili mai, olu olu.
Olu olu.
Very good. Olu olu is to be pleasant. Yeah? So just kind of relax and chill. Next line is ha'a ha'a. Ho'opili mai ha'a ha'a.
Ha'a ha'a.
Ha'a ha'a is to be humble. Yeah? To not be humble. That's right. And the last word, our final A or letter A is aho nui. Okay? Ho'opili mai aho nui.
Aho nui.
Aho nui means patience. So, if all of these things are true of you, then you embody the spirit of aloha as described by Kumu Pilahi Paki. We're going to do this oli, standing once again, and you're going to look from one side of the room to the other. We just do this to train ourselves not to just stare at the camera or the video, but to address what? Yeah, don't scare. Don't stare. Okay, so we're going to look from the one side to the other, and at the end, we're going to use our right hand. We're mirroring you, and we're going to draw it across and share that aloha. Okay, hands down by your sides. Pali ke kua, mahina ke alo, oli aloha.
Akahai, lo kahi, olu olu, ha'a, aho nui, aloha.
That's it. Thank you so much. So that's the short form. We'll continue to go back and forth between the short and the long form. Maybe next week we'll introduce the long form. Okay, so that was Oli Aloha. At this time, we would like to noho ilalo. Go ahead and have a seat. Whenever I did prayers and chants with my kumu, Lemomi I Maldonado, we always, for some reason, we would always sit for this part, for the prayers. So I follow in her footsteps and in her tradition. We are going to do the Hawaiian doxology, also known as the Mele Ho'omaikai right now. And Mele Ho'omaikai or Hawaiian doxology was written, the first verse was written by Hiram Bingham. And there was a kumu who was living until not too long ago, and she loved this hymn so much, the doxology. She loved it so much. You want to come a little closer so that you don't get chopped off? We don't want you to get chopped. Okay. So she loved the doxology so much, she thought there should be a second verse so it lasts longer. So she wrote this second verse that you see on the bottom, and we've been sharing with you over the past couple of months. So let's do our Hawaiian doxology. Okay, so e pule kako, ho'onani, pa.
Ho'onani ka makua mau, ke keiki me ka uhane no, ke akua mau ho'omai ka ipu. Ko ke ao, ko ke la ao,
Kuno.
kuno kou ka honua. Na uli uli o ke kai. Na anola ni kau hoku. Na nani o ka onai au. Amen.
All right. I promise we had our coffee this morning, but that was like we really wanted that to last long. Yeah. I know it was a little slow. Sorry about that. Okay. We're gonna go on to our next pule or prayer, which is e kea kua. For e kea kua, it is a call and response. So I will be the mea alakai. I will lead. And then Eames is going to be the mea ho'opili or the one to follow after. You can choose to be with either team, the alakai or the mea ho'opili. Please join us for e kea kua pa. E kea kua,
E ke akua.
mahalo no,
Mahalo no.
mahalo ya oi,
Mahalo ya oi.
no ke ia la,
No ke ia la.
amene,
Amene.
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 Very good. And my keiki always remind me that if you're doing this very simple chant, if you would like, you can change out the word no keia la for no keia ai. And then instead of being thankful for the day, you're thankful for the food. And it's like a blessing of the dinner or the food or the lunch or the breakfast or whatever snack. Yeah? So you can change that out. Okay. So that was our e kea kua. Let's see. Next up, we are going to do some things talking about the day and the sun. But before we do, we want to know, because since everyone is all around the world, pehea keani la. Pehea keani la is a question. Pehea keani la means how is the what? The weather. Pehea keani la. So we would love to know how is the weather in your neck of the woods. I want to show you what our weather looks like because we have a camera outside pointing outside. And as you can tell, it was a laua. It was a rainy day earlier today because there's all those puddles out there on our deck. But would you check that out? The sky is turning blue. Just a few minutes ago, it was pouring rain. I don't know if you saw it in the backgrounds before we started, but it was pouring rain and all clouds. But now it is blue skies. And I think that's because of you folks and all of the light and love that you bring to our class. So thank you for being here. Let us know how the weather is in your neck of the woods, in your little corner of the honua of the world. All right. We are going to hope that the sun comes out even more because we have some fun birthday adventures planned for later. So will you help us to rise up the sun with eala e? For eala e, we're going to do a pattern with our hands. Can you start us with the pattern, please? Here we go. Eala e pa. Eala e kalai kahikina I kamoana hohonu pihi kaleva nu'u I kahikina ayakala Eala e hanaho one more time go Eala e kalai kahikina I kamoana hohonu pihi kaleva nu'u I kahikina ayakala eala e. And stop right there. We normally do eala e 3 times, and since I know we have some new friends joining us, I will translate as we go. So the first part says eala e. You try. Eala e. Eala e means wake up. Kalai kahikina. Try line 2. Kalai kahikina. It means the sun is in the east, which is where the sun rises. Third line sounds like this. Ika moana. Now it says in the ocean. Of course, we know the sun is not in the ocean, but it looked as if it were rising out of the ocean. So ika moana. The next line says kamoana ho nu, the deep dark ocean. You try kamoana. Ready, go. Kamuanahohonu. So it looks like it's coming out of the depths of the ocean. And as it comes out, it is climbing up to the top of the heavens, the highest heavens. That is Pi'i kaleva, kaleva nu'u. Try. Pi'i kaleva, kaleva nu'u. And then it continues to say, there in the east, there is the sun. Ikahiki na ayakala. Go. Ikahiki na ayakala. And it says, wake up. E ala e. Join us. E ala e. Maikai, very good job. Yes, sir.
That could also be a wake-up song, but not as relaxing.
Exactly. If you were joining us last month, you may have learned a different song for waking up, and that was called Mele Ho'ala. Remember, we were honoring, we were honoring Mary Kavenapukui, who wrote a wake-up song. So if you would like to learn a slightly more gentle wake-up song, besides clapping and yelling, wake up, you can tune into our replays from last week and last month.
Wake up.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Now we're going to do our next oli, which is called E Ho Mai. E Ho Mai is written by Kumu Ire. Ke kuhi kuhi pu'u o neo na liki o kohala. Sometimes we hear na li'i. So, anyways, Kanaka Ole was her last name. And she wrote this chant, which helps us to focus ourselves and to be ready to learn. Are you ready to learn? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to do it 3 times. Ready? E ho mai pa. E ho mai ka ike mai luna mai e o na mea huna no e o na mele e ho mai e ho mai e ho mai e ho mai ka ike mai luna mai e o na mea huna no e o na mele e ho mai e ho mai e ho mai e ho mai ka ike mai luna mai e o na mea huna no e o na mele e ho mai e ho mai e ho mai oh yeah, that's it. Mahalo. Okay, so that was our e ho mai. What is that?
I'm sleepy.
You're sleepy. Yeah, it's kind of a relaxing song, kind of like a meditation. All right. So that was e ho mai. Right now, we're going to move on to one of my favorite parts, which is our ipu. So if you don't have an ipu, then you can use your hands. But if you have an ipu, please go grab it now. Another thing that I heard recently was that some of our kupuna, some of our most well-known, famous, revered kumuhula, their first ipu that they used was a shoyu bottle or, a jug, a milk jug or something like that. So don't be ashamed if you don't have an ipu of your own. We happen to have quite a few ipu. I don't know if you've seen. Kumu has sort of a thing for ipu, especially ipu that are a little bit kind of misshapen, or like my ipu doesn't even stand up. That's why I have a name for my ipu. Yours is perfect. Perfect.
And it's also shiny.
And it is shiny. Okay. So with our ipu, we like to teach the basics of ipu from very, very early on, even younger than 8 years old, because I'm also a music teacher by trade. So I feel like knowing the beat and the rhythm is very important to the hula dancer. So whether you are 8 years old or 80 years old, I think it's very important to learn the pa'i. So please join us. We're going to start with a song talking about how to make an ipu. It is called Mele Ipu Heke Ole. Okay, so here we go. First, we're gonna chop off the head. Hanavau ika ipu heke ole, pa. Hanavau ika ipu heke ole. Scoop it out. Ika ipu heke ole. Sand. Hanavau ika ipu heke ole. Ika papa hana no eo. Hanavau. Hanavau ika ipu heke ole.
Ika ipu, heke ole. Hanavo, ika ipu, heke ole. Ika papa, hana no eo.
And stop. That song was taught to me at Ho'omaka'ikai Explorations at Kamehameha schools. And so that's just talking about how to make the ipu. You chop off the head, you dig out the guts, you sand the sides, and then you have to dip it into the ocean so that it won't get bugs eating it. We don't want bugs eating our ipu. Let's do some beats on the ipu. Okay, so first things first, your right hand on the outside is a ka'eke loloi. That's a little rattling sound. Maybe more for slightly more advanced ipu players. So if you can't quite get this, don't worry about it. All right, next up, come this way just a little bit so your face doesn't get cut. Okay, we're gonna do the pa beat. For the pa, we're gonna do a u on the ground and a te with a cupped hand on the side. Yeah, we don't want to smack it with an open palm. We're gonna cup our hands like this and hit to the side. Let's do the pa beat. Ready, pa. Very good. Cool or stop means the same thing. The next beat is the one that Eames just snuck in there right at the end. It's called a kahela. The kahela is a double beat, so you're gonna get a u te te. Let's try it. Ready, go. U te te, 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 and stop right there. Very good. The last beat that you see there is called the ku ku. The ku ku beat is not cuckoo crazy, although I'm a little bit cuckoo crazy sometimes. But this one has 3 beats on the ground. You see ooh, ooh, ooh. So that's going to be 3 hits on the ground, and then the te te is with the hands. Okay, so let's do the cuckoo beat. Ready, set, here we go. Ooh, 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 te te. Ooh, 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 te te. Ooh, 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 te te. And stop right there. So we'll do some patterns incorporating all 3 beats. Let's start with just 2 for now. We'll do pa and kahela alternating. Ready, set, here we go. Pa, kahela, pa, kahela, pa, kahela, pa, and stop right there. Good. Now let's switch that. We'll do kahela, pa, kahela, pa. Should sound pretty similar. Okay, ready, set, start with double kahela and a pa, kahela and a pa. Kahela and a pa, kahela and a pa. Okay, since it's the beginning of the month, we'll start simple. So we'll just do pa, kahela, cuckoo. That's our final pattern for today. Ready, set, here we go. A pa, kahela, and cuckoo. A pa, kahela, and cuckoo. Sorry, I didn't say we're gonna do it 2 times, but we did. It's all good. All right. At this time, I'm going to ask Eames to put away his ipu. I'm going to keep mine close by. We're actually going to go over some basic steps. It's been a little while before we've gone over our basics, but let's Kuiluna stand on up. You can put your ipu away for now. All right. It's good to have so many of you with us. Thank you for hanging in. Okay. So we're going to be covering... You can come on this side too. Okay. So we're going to be covering the steps that we'll need for the mele that we're going to learn in a little bit. We haven't covered basics in a little while, so I want to be sure to break this down nice and slowly. We don't have too many songs to learn this month, so let's focus on basics just a little bit. First of all, when you are getting ready, your hands, you can put your hands out in front of you and show me spider hands. Yeah, I always tell my kids this is spider hands when you can see all of the webbing in between your fingers, right? Or duck fingers. Okay, but let's do no spider hands. Fingers together. You can drop the thumbs just a little bit because when we get ready, the thumb is going to tuck behind our back. Okay, so make sure that your fingers are still together. You don't want to have spider hands here. I have this black cardigan on today because it was actually cold earlier. I don't think you really believe me, but it was really cold. Okay. So you're going to put your fingers together and thumbs are to the back. And we're going to do the very simple, it's not the most basic. Well, it is pretty basic. This is called the ka'o. So for the ka'o, actually, Eames, can we move back so that they can see our feet? Yeah, that's good. Okay, so for the ka'o, your feet should be slightly apart, facing to the front, and your whole foot is going to touch to the ground. There are some styles of the hula where the heels lift on the ka'o. That is not the style that we were taught. So if you would like to, learn the style that I was taught by my kumu, Leimomi Maldonado, and her kumu before that, it is mostly going to be flat-footed. So heel, toe, ball of the foot, everything is touching the ground. Now bend your knees just slightly. Aiha'a. Good. Ku, stand tall. Yeah, ku means to stop or stand. Aiha'a or ha'a, bend your knees. Ku, stand tall. And finally, aiha'a. Okay, so that's the first part. Your knees need to be slightly bent, a little more than a micro bend, but a little bit of a bend, not a whole lot. Okay, now we're gonna start with the ka'o. So the ka'o step is very simple. It is just a sway side to side. So let's start by pushing our hip out to the right side. Eames and I are mirroring you, so this should be your right side, right? Okay, push your hip to the left side. Ka'o left. Now ka'o right and ka'o left. Good. Hopefully you see, ka'o right, that our heels are not lifting. Ka'o left, ka'o right, ka'o left. Good. Now, your shoulders, they may move very slightly, but please make sure that you're not tipping. This is not, I'm a little teapot, short and stout. No. Ka'o is pretty steady. So try and keep your shoulders still. If you have a mirror or a window that you could look in while you dance, that would be great. Let's start by planting your feet. Ha'a, bend your knees. And we're going to ka'o. Ready, set, ka'o, going right and left. Ka'o right and left. Ka'o to the right and left and right and stop. Very good. Okay, so that's called the ka'o. Even Daddy is dancing behind the table today. So it's going to be a good hula, I can tell. Okay, the next basic step that you're going to need for our hula, which is kind of a more beginner hula this month, is a kaholo. And the kaholo is probably the most common step. The kaholo is made up of 4 counts. You're going to take 4 steps to the right, and then you're going to change directions and do 4 steps to the left. Now, when I say 4, every foot counts. So right, left, right together. Yeah, it is not that, but we don't want to show them what it isn't. We want to show them what it is. Okay, so here we go. Let's try 4 steps. Bend your knees. There you go. Okay, I'm ready. Kaholo, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Switch directions. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kaholo to the right. Yes, Daddy. Holo to the left. And kaholo to the right. And kaholo to the left. Very good. After we talked to you about spider hands, I just saw in the monitor that both Eames and I had our hands like this. So sorry about that. Sometimes do as we say, not as we do. Yeah, I had mine too. Okay, so we have 2 steps so far. We have ka'o and kaholo. The only other step that you're going to need for this, which is slightly advanced, is what we're calling a kaholo kuvili. Kuvili means to spin in a dance. So kuvili is going to be a spinning kaholo. Instead of just going straight to the side, our first step is going to turn us to the right. So turn that foot out. Okay. The next step is going to cross over and you're going to face towards the back. Yep. The next step, your right foot is going to bring you back around. And the next step, your feet come together, just like your regular kaholo. Okay. So try not to spin like a pirouette on one spot. You're actually moving in a line towards this direction. So let's try the left one very slowly. Open out your left foot to the side. Now your right foot is going to go across and you're going to turn to the back. Then your left foot is going to cross behind and keep moving in that direction. And then your right foot comes together. Okay, so that is our kaholo kuvili spinning all around. Let's try it. We're going to do a straight kaholo. 1, 2, 3, tap, straight to the right, straight to the left, and then we're going to spin it to the right and spin it back to the left so we don't get too dizzy. Okay, bend your knees down, ready, set, kaholo to the right, 2, 3, holo left. Spinning, here we go, right, 2, 3, come back to the left. Oh, sorry. We're going to spin both ways. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I will be the ho'opa'a. Ho'opa'a is the person who holds on to the beat, usually the one who plays the ipu. For the dancer or the olapa, Eames is going to be the dancer. You can choose to do either if you would like to practice your ipu beats or if you'd like to practice your steps, but we're only doing those 3 steps. Kaholo, kaholo kuvili, spinning, and ka'o. So we'll try and change that up. Please listen. Ka'o is a step. It is a hula step. You're not stepping, but it is a hula step. Always has a correction for me. Okay, so here we go. Are you ready? Makoko? Bend your knees. Ka'o, sway. Right, left. Good job. Thank you for mirroring them. Kaholo. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to ka'o. Ka'o. Kaholo. Ka'o, sway. Right, left. Right, left. Right, left. Kaholo. Okay, stay on your kaholo. Keep going. But we're going to get ready to spin. Ready? Kaholo, spin. Kuvili. Spin back other way. Right, straight kaholo. Go ahead. Let's ka'o, sway. Straight kaholo. Kaholo kuvili, spin. Spin back. Regular holo. And hoop. Hey, nice job. 8 years old, he graduated to Olapa already. Okay, so now I want to just call your attention. In this choreography, there is going to be a little bit of a tricky part because the music is a little bit jazzy in a way. So there's one part where you're gonna get a kaholo and just one ka'o. So I just want you to see what that is gonna feel like. Oh, my feathers are just okay. We're fine. Okay. So we're gonna kaholo to the right, and then we're gonna do one ka'o to the left. Let's try that. Ready, go. Kaholo to the right, one ka'o, and then kaholo to the right again. Yeah. So kaholo, and then sandwich in between just one sway, and then continue to the right, and then. Oh, sorry. Let's try it. Ready, set, kaholo, right. Kaholo to the right. One sway and kaholo to the right. Close your feet. Okay, we're going to try one more time. Now let's go to the left. One kaholo, one sway, one kaholo. Ready, set, here we go. Kaholo to the left and sway and kaholo to the left. Okay, so I just want you to know that that is coming right now. Okay, so we're going to move on to our mele for the day. But before we do, I want to give you a little bit of information about the famous person that we are honoring this month. Please stop that. Okay. So this month is March, and besides Eam's birthday, there's also a very famous Hawaiian besides Eames, who's also very famous, that we celebrate in the month of March, and his name is Prince Jonah Kūhiō. So I wanted to give you a little bit of history about him. You can go ahead and have a seat. I will give a little history as we go. Okay, so the very first picture I want to show you is a baby picture of Jonah Kūhiō Kalaniano Ole. This is our prince right here, and he was known as the citizen prince. He was born on the island of Kauai, and he was born into a royal family, so he always had a pretty good life. You see in his face, he does not look happy to be taking this picture. But remember, back in the time when this picture was taken, it probably took hours to get this one shot. So if you can imagine your keiki, they don't even want to pose for 1 minute, let alone 10 seconds. He probably had to sit for hours for this photo. So his face is one that is familiar to us in many Hawaiian children, that kind of like, ugh. But, we see him in our keiki even today. Okay, so this is Prince Jonah Kūhiō Kalaniano Ole, born on the island of Kauai. Now, he was born Hanauia ma Kauai, but he was Hanai. He was adopted by his uncle, King David Kalakaua, and he was named a prince by his uncle Kalakaua. So he was actually adopted along with his brothers. So we go on to the next picture, which is a really interesting one. You see him wearing stripes, and I almost wore stripes today. Now, he was a fashionable guy, but these stripes were not for fashion. In fact, this is shortly after the illegal overthrow of the Hawaiian kingdom. When Queen Liliuokalani, his aunt, was overthrown, and there was that coup that kicked her off of her throne, he joined together with some Hawaiians who were trying desperately to restore our queen to the monarchy. And unfortunately, around the same time that Liliu was arrested, so too was our Prince Kūhiō, and he was sent to jail. So he didn't get to stay in the palace as Queen Liliuokalani was held um, captive in the palace. He actually had to go to jail, and he stayed in jail for 1 whole year. I heard a story recently that the jailer went to Liliu and she said and told her, since your nephew is in jail, but he's royalty, he doesn't have to wear the stripes of the prisoner. But actually, Liliu, she said, if he was truly wrong and if it is meant that he should be in jail, then he must wear the stripes of a prisoner. And so that is his fate if he has truly wronged the government. And so it was just an interesting story. He was sort of gonna be let loose from at least wearing the jail clothes, but Liliu said, no, if that is his fate, then he is going to be like the other prisoners and he's not going to have special treatment. He'll be right alongside his compatriots that fought with him. So interesting. Another interesting thing, for 1 whole year, while he was in jail, he was visited daily by a princess from his home island of Kauai by the name of Princess Kahanu. After he was released from jail, they were married shortly after. And this is a picture from their honeymoon as they returned back to their home in Waikiki. The home was called Pualeilani, and it is this home that we are going to be learning a hula for this month. So the song is not called Pualeilani, but there is a mele by the name of Pualeilani. If you joined us a few minutes before we started, actually Manu Boyd presented a talk yesterday for the Office of Hawaiian Affairs and the Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement, and he shared with us the Mele Pualeilani. So we just put a little excerpt of that in the clip earlier in our show. So you can go back and watch the replay for that. This is, sorry, how do I get out of here? Okay, this is a picture of Pualeilani, the estate there at Waikiki. I'll tell you more about Pualeilani as we go along, but if you would like to do a little research for yourself, actually, Kamakapili from the KHON News, he did a great story back in January about Pualeilani, and you could go check that out on KHON's website and on their Facebook. It's a segment that's called Aloha Authentic, and he talks about the origin of the street name Pualeilani, which is on the west side, being this home in Waikiki. There's a beautiful imagery and storytelling, so I hope that you're able to check that out. The home no longer stands in Waikiki, but luckily, the mele that have been written about it do continue on, and that is what we're going to be learning about today. Just a few more stories that I wanted to share with you. Here's a clip from the newspaper called the Kealoha Aina. Now, Kealoha Aina was one of many Hawaiian language newspapers that have been printed and archived and that are currently being transcribed and translated. So this one talks about a hukilau that happened at Pualeilani. And everybody knows the song, "Oh, we're going to a hukilau, huki, 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 hukilau." That's a classic Waikiki hapa haole song. A hukilau is actually an ancient Hawaiian fishing practice where they would gather together many, many people and a large net to go out into the ocean and gather fish for a large feast. Everyone who participated in the hukilau would receive a portion of the feast of the meal, and it was a way for the community to work together to feed themselves. So a hukilau was a grand occasion, cause for celebration, And I just love in that article that maybe we can show the article one more time. In the article, it really details what the hukila was like. It says, "He hukila o ke ano o ke au kahiko ka ke keiki ali'i a me kana kamali'i wahine o ka ha'awi ana e ma ke ahi o ka po'a kahi nei ma waho o ka laua wahi ma Waikiki." So it said they had a hukilau just like the ancient times right outside their home at Waikiki. And when I say they, it was the Prince Kūhiō and his princess Kahanu. And it says, "Mahope o ka pauona o ka hukilau ana, he hula Hawaiʻi ke kahi no ka ho'opau pono ana I nā hana o ia ahi ahi." So after they did the hukilau, there was a bunch of Hawaiian hula to end the night. So I can only imagine that's this hula that we're about to learn, maybe one of those hulas. We are going to be learning a mele entitled Waikīkī Hula. Now, we don't know who wrote Waikīkī Hula. It is actually considered a traditional mele. The transcript and the melody of this song were passed down to one of Princess Kahanu's handmaidens, or one of her ladies in waiting. Now, a granddaughter of that lady in waiting has preserved this mele. Her name is Helen Ayat, and so I have a picture of Helen Ayat. I don't have a picture of the handmaiden, or but this is Helen Ayat. She's sitting on a counter at Kapi'olani Hospital. She wrote a beautiful mele. She took some poetry from a dear friend of hers that had passed away, who wrote a song about Kapi'olani Hospital, and she put a melody to it. So I just wanted you to see Helen Ayat. She is the one that we have to thank for this mele that we're about to learn. Not that she wrote it, but she preserved it for all of us. All right. I know that's a lot of talking, but let's get into our hula. This is Waikiki Hula. Come join me, please. So we're only going to cover one verse today of Waikiki Hula, and we're going to start today with feet since we have been working on our basic steps. So it's only two lines in this verse, two lines. So we're going to start off with the vamp. For the vamp, it's going to be very simply a kaholo to the right and kaholo to the left. So let's try it. Ready, set, kaholo to the right, 2, 3, and left. Very good. Now, kaholo, of course, is, or a vamp, I should say, is that break in between verses. And we also start with a vamp at the beginning. So let's try it one more time. Ready, bend your knees, kaholo right, and kaholo left. Very good. Now, our vamp, or our hand motions that we're going to do for it, is going to be very simply out to the side and into the center. And then you're going to switch out to the side with your now right hand and then into the center. That's it. Now, this choreography comes to us via my kumu, Leimomi'i Maldonado, who taught this to us. And so this is Auntie Leigh's version of Waikiki Hula. The reason that I know that it is her version is because of the vamp. This is a vamp that Auntie Leigh loved to use, side, front, side, front. Okay, so we're going to move in opposition from our hands. We're going to kaholo to the right while our left hand is out. Ready, set, kaholo, follow your hands, side and front and side. One more time. Try the vamp again. Side and front and side and front. Now, Auntie Leigh has the most beautiful, gentle hands, so try not to be so stiff if you are being stiff. A nice little wave there. Auntie Leigh was she danced in the golden age of hula in Waikiki, so nice, soft, gentle. Okay. Now, let's go on to the feet for the verse. It starts with a kaholo, right and left. Very simple. Ready? And go. He aloha ia no. A o Waikiki ea. Kanehe o ke kai. Now, stop right here. On Havana, 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 you're going to sway one time, ka'o, and then you're going to kaholo, Vana, Vana to the side. Okay, so there is where your ka'o comes in, and I'll tell you where the spin comes in right after. Okay, so plant your feet, and let's kaholo it out all the way until Havana, Vana. Ready, kaholo, he aloha, ia no. A o Waikiki ea. Kanehe o ke kai. Sway. Havana, Havana, vamp. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. He aloha, ia no o Waikiki eia. Kanehe o ke kai. One sway. Havana, Havana. Now I'm gonna teach you where that spin comes in. We might need to take down the lyrics so that you can see our full bodies for this one. It is right at the beginning. It always sort of caught me off guard, but I love that Auntie Lei started with this spin. So right after your vamp, spin around one time only. He aloha kaholo. Ia no a o Waikiki eia. Kanehe o ke kai ka'o. Havana, Havana, vamp. Ba-da, be-dum, 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 be-dum. Spin around. Hey, aloha. Straighten out. Ia no. A o Waikiki eia. Kanehe o ke kai ka'o. Havana, Havana. That's it. Okay, so those are our feet movements. For those of you that would prefer not to do the spin, you always have my permission to not do that. I know especially some of our ladies would prefer not to do all of the crazy spinning, but I know that some of you are very capable, so you will join us for that. You don't have a choice. You got to spin. Okay, what's up?
Maybe you should move back when you're dancing.
Oh, okay. Eames was letting me know that you maybe couldn't see my feet. The feet work for this is pretty simple, but thank you for that reminder. Not get so close to the camera. Okay, so let's go over our hand motions. Are we doing okay, Uncle Lou? Okay, so He Aloha is gonna go from your chest. You're gonna go straight from the center, out to the side. My love, and then from your center, out to the side. Of course, you're gonna spin on one of them. He aloha, and then open just to the left, straight. Ia no. Okay, so let's try it. Ready? Spin to the right. Ready and go. He aloha, ia no. Very good. Now Waikiki, you're gonna bring your hands right by the wrist, and you're gonna wave 2 times to the right and 2 times to the left. Okay, so very gentle waves. Waikiki is not huge crashing waves mostly. It's just little bumps. Okay, so let's start from He Aloha, spinning to the right. He Aloha, ia no. Tiny waves. A o Waikiki eia. The whispering C, you're going to stretch your hands out to the side, left hand to the side, right hand goes to your lips, and it's making a sort of like a whispering motion. Kanehe o ke kai. Then you're going to pull it back in. Havana. And then push it back out. Vana. Then you vamp. Ba-da, be-da, be-dum, be-dum, be-dum. Okay, so let's go from kanehe. Ready? Holo to the right. Kanehe o ke kai. Here's your sway. Havana, Havana. Yeehaw. Side. Ba-dee-da, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum. Get ready to spin. He aloha, ia no. Waikiki. A o Waikiki eia. Whispering C. Kanehe o ke kai sway. Havana, Havana. That's it. Let's try it with the music. I have re-recorded a version similar to Kahauanu Lake's version. Definitely tune into theirs. Oh, I gotta turn on my speaker. Sorry. I'm gonna hold that. Starts with that vamp, don't forget. Come on. It's a little faster, by the way. You ready to vamp? Here we go. He aloha, spinning. He aloha, ia no. Whispering. Oh, sorry. It's actually a lot faster. He aloha. Waikiki. caught you off guard there. It's not quite as gentle. Let's try one more time now that you know how fast it goes, and then we're gonna end with poi balls. Birthday boy's choice. Ready and hula. E aloha huli. Waikiki. Whispering. Ka'o. Holo. E aloha spin. Waikiki. Whisper ka'o. Side front. Side front. Yay! I hope you loved that. If you would like to practice over and over and over, the replay of this video will be immediately nearly seconds after the live ends. So just tune back in and you can watch that part over and over and over. I know some of you like to have more repetition. So be sure to check out the replay. Oh, thank you so much. He's reminding me that we have one more thing left to do. Everyone's favorite. We like to end with poi balls. If you don't have poi balls at home, you can just enjoy laughing at us struggling to do poi balls.
Hoki hoki
All right,
toru fa.
here we go.
Hoki hoki toru mai.
Auntie Lemomi'i Maldonado always like to incorporate poi balls, especially for the Keiki classes, as a way to improve hand-eye coordination. I think it's also just so that we could get some lick-ins, give ourselves some lick-ins for being so naughty. But this is the Maori poi balls. Of course, they are not native to Hawaii, but still a part of our Polynesian ʻohana. Lots of things that you can do, different tricks. I only know like 5, so, there's that. Yes, overhead, thread the needle. For those of you that would like to purchase poi balls, I do believe I saw them for sale at Aloha Hula Supply and Hula Supply Center. Was Hula Supply Center? Aloha Hula Supply. You can check them out online. All right, big finish. Okay, mahalo for that. Always wants to play that song afterwards. I think that was Santa's hula. Okay, we're back in December. Anyways, wanted to thank you for being with us today. I hope that you like our mele for Pualeilani, the home of Princess Kahanu and Jonah Kūhiō. If you would like to learn more hula related to Kūhiō, on Tuesdays, we are learning a newly composed mele by our friends Kahanuola Solatorio, who wrote Ke Walauka, which honors some of the Hawaiian homesteads. And that is also part of the legacy of Prince Jonah Kūhiō. If you would like to learn from other people about Kūhiō, I also wanted to feature the Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement in partnership with Office of Hawaiian Affairs, in partnership with the Hawaii Pono'i Coalition, and I don't know, every other Hawaiian on the planet, I think. They're all in collaboration. They're all in cahoots for this celebration of Prince Jonah Kūhiō Kalaniana Ole. The one that aired yesterday is available on Facebook Live right here. And that was the one where Kumu Manu Boyd shared that mele that we heard earlier in our live stream. So this is that. Now there are 3 more opportunities to learn about Prince Jonah Kūhiō Kalaniana Ole live on Facebook, or you can always watch the replay, just like our hulas today. Okay, so could I please share the YouTube link of the mele we learned? So I don't actually have a YouTube link of the mele, but I do have a SoundCloud where I keep all of my recordings. So I can put the link to our SoundCloud there. I'll see if I can find a YouTube link to the Kahawanu Lake version to also include here. But yeah, I think we did a lot of good learning today, especially about Kūhiō and Pualeilani. And I hope that you'll come back again very soon. Let us know how you like today's show, today's class, I guess. Trying to take it a little bit slower, give you a little bit more background, share some primary document resources with you from our research that we do to prepare for every single class. So have a fabulous day. Happy birthday to this guy. It's gonna be birthday for Kūhiō a little bit later, so we'll celebrate that in a few weeks. But have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time. Ahui ho.